Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy White Album here. And before I get started, just want to tell you guys to make sure to check out my last video. I was playing some MELTYBLOOD actress again, a quick little blast from the past. Rocking out the story mode for Full Moon Roa, if you want to check that out. So, welcome back to some Witchontheholynight. Ooh, yes, last time we left off, I think the big three finally met. Sojiro, Alice, and Aoko finally got together in a sort of sense, but here we go. I got my water ready, that way I'm not stumbling over my words. Let's get going, because I think things are going to start heating up pretty soon, so let's keep going. Let us keep going. Let's see. Well, this is a different looking screen. Quick load real quick. Yes.
よしてよ。今あなたにそんなことされても迷惑だから。
What she said. Alright, here we go. Speaking of water, let me take a quick sip real quick. Some nice audio texture there for you guys. Alright, here we go. Give me a break. You're just gonna give me a headache if you do that.
それで、水泳部はどう？やっていけそう？
So, how's the swimming club? Does it seem like a good fit? An awkwardness infiltrated her previously sharp gaze. Sojiro was able to pick up on the odd change in her behavior, but could not divine its reason. Okay. So he simply started with what he knew so far and reported the most recent information he had.
ああ、水泳部はクビになった。
Oh, okay. That was fast. Oh, I already got kicked out of the club already.
なんでよ!
What? Why? Oh, sorry. That reminds me of if you guys ever seen the movie Friday, it's like the scene with Ice Cube and his dad goes like, it's like, how in the hell did you get fired on your day off? That just reading that, I got kicked out of the club already line is just funny to me, because I think last time he said that that because it's like, I think the winter, so that the swim club doesn't really do much during the winter until like the summer. So the fact that he got kicked out already just gives me those, gives me some Friday vibes, man. If you haven't watched that movie, I recommend it. It's really good. It's a cool, chill little movie. It might not be some of you guys' sense of humor, but it's definitely mine. So here we go. Aoko instinctively shouted at the unexpected response. Like a human jack-in-the-box, this unexpected development threw her mind in a tizzy, and she momentarily forgot the tizzy threw me off. Complicated feelings she had been wrestling with.
だって今から待ち合わせだって。
But you just said you were on your way to meet the captain. The Clapton. Eric Clapton.
それは、これからヤシロギの温水プールに連れて行ってくれるからだよ。
Yeah, the captain's taking me to a heated pool in Yashirogi. Sojiro stated this very matter-of-factly to the still reeling Aoko.
話がつながらない。そこまでうまくいってるのに、どうして入部を拒否されるのよ、あんたは。
I'm not following. Things seem to be going fine. Why would they kick you out?
そりゃ、俺が泳げないからだろ。
Oh, that's easy. Because I can't swim. Oh, that's funny. Oh. Sojiro, I would get away from her, man. That uppercut's about to be wild, brother. Aoko reached up with her fingers and pinched the bridge of her nose as she processed his answer.
しずきくん、昨日の私の質問は覚えてる？走るのか泳ぐのか、どっちがいいかってやつ。
Suzuki, do you remember my question from yesterday? The one where I asked whether you preferred running or swimming.
私の記憶は正しいけど、一応確認しておくわね。
I'm confident that I remember your answer, but please repeat it to me.
あなた、確かに泳ぐ方だって言ったけど。
You said you preferred swimming, right?
ああ、昔から泳げないのはなんとか克服したかったんだ。反対に走る方は得意だけど。
I don't think that's what she meant, man. Yeah, since I was little, I've always wanted to learn, and I'm already really good at running, so I think you kind of missed entirely the point of what a club is. Her energy spent, Aoko finally understood.
俺が1年なら1から鍛えてくれたらしいんだけど、
Apparently, they would have taken me in and trained me from square one if I were in my first year.
あと3ヶ月で3年になる身分なのに、金槌の部員は雇えないそうだ。
Sadly, it sounds like they can't recruit a second year like me who sings like a rock, especially with only 3 months left in the school year.
けど部長が親身になってくれて、これから泳ぎを教えてくれることになったんだよ。
But the captain was really nice about it, and even offered to teach me how to swim. Sojiro's words were spoken from a place of joy, a fact that failed to reach Aoko.
はあ、つまり、欠陥品を売りつけたってわけか。こりゃ水泳部の部長に合わす顔がないと。ちょっと待った。
Huh. So in other words, I try to pawn off defective goods. I'll never be able to show my face to the swimming club captain ever again. Wait. But isn't the captain a...
しずきくん、水泳部の部長って。
Suzuki. The swimming club the swimming club captain is... She stopped herself short of a girl. Ooh. What, they can't have same-sex swimming teams? It's kind of sexist of you. Then again, it was the 80s. She was afraid of how that might look, that she might not be able to rein herself in if she started.
もういいわ。気持ちは分かったから、どこか遠くにいてくれない？少し疲れてて、とてもじゃないけどあなたの相手はしていられないの。
You know what? It doesn't matter. I understand now. So you could just go. Far, far from here, okay? I just can't deal with you right now. Yeah, that face says it all. Meanwhile, Alice in the background.
飛び丸もそんなことを言ってたな。青崎は昨日と今日、珍しく疲れてるって。何かあったのか？
Tobimaro said the same thing. Come to think of it, he said that you were unusually tired from yesterday and today. Did something happen?
ちょっとね。でもいいの。解決したみたいだから。
Kind of, but it's fine. It seems to have resolved itself.
それより、しずきくんはどう見える？私、そんなに疲れて見えるのかな？
Anyway, how do I look to you, Suzuki? Do I really look that exhausted? Why has she asked him this? We have no clue. Blurting out things for no reason and on impulse. This was not unusual for Aoko. Perhaps it was because she realized that this would be their last chance to have a normal conversation. After a few moments of contemplation, Sojiro conjured up a grin that cut straight through the tension.
そうだな。疲れているというより、生き生きしているように見える。仕方なく畑を耕していた狼が、久しぶりに狩りに出ることになって、機嫌を上げている感じだ。
Well, I would say you look more lively than you do tired, like a wolf that's been forced to plow fields for a long time, but is excited to finally go on a hunt again. He seemed so cheerful. Like he was happy for her. Too bad she's gotta fucking just murder him in cold blood. Without thinking, Aoko's hands went to her cheeks. If what he said were true, then she was grinning from ear to ear. There was just no way she would have made such a mistake.
とにかくありがとう。じゃあ、また明日。
Anyway, thanks again. See you tomorrow. There won't be a tomorrow. Perhaps it was still not comfortable enough to wave to her. He said his goodbye with sincerity in his voice and a smile, and took his leave.
待って。こんな話があるの。聞いてから言って。
Wait, I have a question for you. Then you can go. Aoko called out after him. Her voice was cold, as she admonished herself for having been somewhat affable. Affable? Earlier. I guess that's a word. Yeah.
意味のない例え話よ。
This is just a hypothetical question.
そうね。あなたが空腹で死にそうな時、目の前に同じように空腹で死にそうな2匹の動物がいるとするわ。
Let's say you're on the brink of starvation, and right in front of you are two animals, also starving.
しずきくんに銃をあげる。それでどちらかの動物を撃って。右はライオンで、左は子猫。選ぶのはあなたの自由だから。
Someone gives you a gun and tells you to shoot one of them. The one on the right is a lion. The one on the left is a kitten. What do you do? So it's one of those like moral questions, because I won't answer that. It was a fable-like moral dilemma. especially the way in which it was cruel and rather preachy. The kind that if you thought too hard about it, you would never find an answer. Sojiro answered quickly and calmly.
いや、撃たないと思うよ。だって、自分の好きにしていいんだろ。それにほら、空腹ならお互い様だ。
I don't think I should at all. You asked me what I do, right? And come on, all three of us are starving. He was not in the least fazed by the dilemma. He gave the most innocent response, so innocent in fact that it would give anyone pause.
長生きするわ、あなた。
You're going to live a long life, Suzuki. I mean, he could have said he would have killed himself. That could have been that's a third option. Let's be honest here. You know, it's either shoot the lion, shoot the kin, or shoot yourself. You know, it's people forget about that third option there. So.
すごいセリフだな。そんなことを言われたのは、多分君が初めてだ。
Well, you think so? I think that's the first time anyone has ever said that to me. Adorning his face was a smile wholly out of sync with his comment.
何よ、それ。
What the hell is that supposed to mean? She regretted stopping him. If only she had just watched them go, this conversation would have never had happened. Sojiro Suzuki made his way down the sloped street. My bad. Today, just like every day, he probably had to work late again. Only Aoko and Alice remained, with Alice doing what she could to simply blend in. Not in that outfit.
つくづく、こっちのペースを乱してくれるわね。あの人畜無害な田舎者は。
That harmless hick really throws me for a loop. Aoko clenched her right fist tightly as she cursed out loud. Anything to prevent herself from screaming at the top of her lungs. Whether that scream would be directed toward Sojiro or toward herself was another matter entirely.
Aoko.
Aoko heard Alice's soft voice behind her. Aoko knew what she was going to say, and she had known for the entire time. Ever since Alice, having shown no reaction to any of the other students, changed her expression upon seeing Sojiro.
言わなくてもいい。あいつでしょ、目撃者は。
You don't need to say it. It's him, right? The witness? Her voice was as cold as ice. It was the voice of someone talking about a complete stranger. The lion and the kitten. There were pros and cons to choosing either of these animals, the point being that she had asked him to choose one of them. In terms of risk, the lion was a more dangerous choice. The instant the gun pointed at it, there was a chance it would fight back. Those who chose the lion require more courage, but any sense of guilt that came with holding a gun would be forgotten. Lions are fierce creatures, a poor excuse to shoot an animal, perhaps, but one that certainly helped alleviate the guilt. But what about the kitten? The weaker creature. It seems without saying that the kitten would be easier target of the two, but choosing it would be disquieting? I guess that's a word too. A decision for anyone. Even if the kitten had no chance to survive, it was still too senseless to carry out. And to Aoko, Sojiro was that choice.
てっきり、私もそうだと思ってた。
I knew it was him too. When she had felt the sinking feeling in the student council room, she ignored it, but there was no getting around what must be done, she told herself. Until, that is, Sojiro went and said what he did, causing her resolve to waver. But the discomfort in her chest did not stem from any guilt she may have felt. She could care less for Sojiro. He was weak, and would be incredibly easy to deal with. Yet, for some reason, she could not dispel her reservations. A transfer student who moved to the city from the middle of nowhere with no family to speak of. Few would notice if he were to suddenly disappear compared to a person of some renown. If she were to kill him, it would be as simple as wringing a cat's neck. I mean, you've already killed a fucking cat family by accident, Oko. It wouldn't be your first time. All right? Let's be honest. You turned on a car, you killed 3 people, or 3 animals, all right? So this should not be a moral question to you. And all served just to piss her off. It was too lucky. Like everything was neatly handed to her. She just wanted to drop kick it right into orbit. Oh, that's funny.
信じられない。私、嫌がってる。これは違う。
I can't believe it. I hate it. This isn't how it's supposed to be.
こんなの、私じゃない。
Why am I like this? Alice is like, I'll kill him for you if you want me to. I wouldn't. She's like, I'll fucking do it if you won't. Standing behind her, Alice heard all of the muttering. Nevertheless, she seemed to ignore it and said,
彼、首に布を巻いていたわね。
he had something wrapped around his neck. A wholly unrelated topic. Aoko returned to her senses.
首？
His neck?
ええ。水泳部の首とかけていたのかしら。
Yes. I wonder if it had something to do with being rejected by the swimming club. No, he's had that since he came here, little lady. Then again, I'm pretty sure that's Alice's first time ever actually seeing him, so. Alice had put much thought into this, as if it had a deeper meaning to her somehow.
そういえば、あいつ初めて会った時も首に布巻いてたっけ？襟を行儀よく締めてるから目立たないけど。
Now that you mention it, I saw him wearing the same thing the first time we met. I must have missed it because he always had his collar done up. The conversation turned to idle nonsense. And though it resolved none of her current problems, and it did help calm Aoko's frazzled nerves.
サンキュー。落ち着いたわ、アリス。
Thanks, Alice. I'm good.
それと、気合も入った。
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go fucking... I'm gonna delete him from history.
善は急げ。あいつが言いふらす前に決着をつけよう。
I mean, he's already did that with TYPEMOON, so it's kind of too late for that, right? Let's strike while the iron's hot, and end this before he spreads any rumors. Pumped once more, Aoko turned her back to the school gate. For now, they would retire to the mansion and prepare for battle. What if he like Home Alones them? Like, have you ever seen Home Alone? That they try to go and they just get hit like by like paint cans and they step on shit by accident.
いつ、どこで彼を殺すの？
Sure. But when and where do you plan to kill him? She said quietly, so as not to be overheard by anyone else. Normally Aoko would had to reign in that side of Alice, out in the open as they were, but this was far from a normal situation.
今日の夜、場所はとっておきの夢の国よ。
Tonight, as for the place, we shall meet him in the land of dreams. America? She gave a fearless laugh. A strangely pleasant sound. It was the kind one would make when meeting their lover. Okay. Ooh, okay, there we go. Let's save real quick here. Alright, now I know last time somebody actually commented this, that there's stuff in the archive that I missed. Let me just do a quick little glance. Oh yeah, look at that. There's shit here. What is it though? I'll worry about that later. But I might check this out after. I don't know if it adds much to the games or anything. So I'm not going to be too anal about it. But here we go. Night of the Witches, Part 1. The next episode. Episode 5. Sojiro returned to his apartment on the foot as per routine, under a blanket of clouds in the night sky. The rusty stairs of his apartment building clanged with each step. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see the bicycles parked by the apartment building's outer wall. He debated the pros and cons of a bicycle, how much easier life would be versus the expense, the convenience versus the necessity. But in the end, he decided one was not right for him just now. Clutching the bag of apples under his arms, sorry, sorry, I'm messing up for no reason. Clutching the bag of apples under his arm, he took out the key to his residence.
あれば便利だけど、なくて。
A bike sure would be convenient, but it's not like... His head tilted in confusion. The more and more he found himself preoccupied with such random thoughts, where the real issue at hand was deciding what to do with the apples he had received. Eat them? Make a pie? Does Japan have apple pie? If they don't, they're missing out. He placed a paper bag by the sink and switched on the lights. It was just after 10 in the evening. God damn. With the end of term exams just around the corner, he had to come home an hour earlier than usual. As he made back for the kitchen to pick one of the apples to snack on, he found an envelope stuffed in his mail slot. The envelope had no name, return address, or stamp. Inside a single piece of paper that only had the sender's name and a short message. It's just like a black handprint that says "We know" from Skyrim, the Dark Brotherhood. If you ever done that side quest, I mean, if you played Skyrim, you definitely have done it. But here we go. Let me get my devious voice out. It read.
話があるので、今夜どこそこのここに来られたし、大事なようなので、来るまでずっと待っている。言うまでもなく、他言無用。
There's something we need to talk about tonight. It's important, so I'll be waiting. Needless to say, keep this a secret. A concise set of orders, neatly written. It was signed, Aoko Aozaki. She had been considerate enough to enclose a detailed map of the meeting place. Puzzled, he cocked his head to the side, then headed out the door. I was like, alright. It's a trap. Don't do it. Take an apple with you. So leave a trail of apples so when the cops try to find you, they know what happens. Afterward, upon the room's sole tenant leaving the premises, the envelope burst into flames and evaporated without a trace, as though it had never existed in the first place. Oh, they're smart. Kind of wild, though, that people, when you think about it, Aoko and fucking Alice are, like, in high school. But they're like, yo, if somebody finds out what we are, we have to fucking murder them. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just like, yeah, but they haven't even graduated yet. They're already killing people. Not if they want to, but they kind of have to. It's like a necessary evil, you know? Alright, here we go. By the late 80s, Japan's post-war economic boom had somewhat stabilized, and the city experienced a period of steady growth. The city's modernization marched on, and the Japan Railways train station, a symbol of the new era, neared completion. In Masaki's neighboring town of Yashirogi, a new symbol of its own was about to be born. Oh, what the hell? Like an earthquake happened? Yashirogi bred in Kitsyland. It was Masaki's worst investment. Years later, it would be dubbed the fool's gold of the economic bubble, a relic of a bygone age.
この町には夢とか遮奪さが足りない。
The city lacks aspiration and sophistication. Kitsyland, was that like Disneyland? 10 years ago. Yashirogi's renowned Tokitsu Baking Company ran factories all across the nation. Its proprietor was a middle-aged gentleman, then aged 56, by the name of Yurihiko Tokitsu, known affectionately by most as Toppan. He took it upon himself to begin development on an estate on the outskirts of Yashirogi and broke ground on a recreational wonderland that he hoped to be the pride of Misaki City. The long-awaited opening came in 1981. After 3 years of investment, this local amusement park, full of all kinds of hopes and dreams, began its short-lived tenure. It covered more than 85 square acres. Its magnificent merry-go-round dazzled all who passed through the park's gates. Its roller coaster twisted and turned about the edges of the park like a writhing Japanese dragon. Its Ferris wheel, packed beyond necessity with gimmicks, was said to have tested the limits of modern engineering.
完璧だ。遊園地に必要なものはすべて積み込んだ。
It's perfect, infused with everything an amusement park could ever need. Old Yurihiko looked upon his creation and smiled. Only boosting his confidence was the fact that its grand opening was staged during a period of prosperity, the springtime of the world. But, in spite of this, they splendidly miscalculated the balance between aspirations and sophistication. Its mascot, Kitsy, was poorly designed and appeared like a cheap knockoff. The park was stuffed to the brim with bread stands. Even its impossible to navigate mirror maze seemed out of date from the start. There are no dreams to be had at Kitsyland, only a nightmarish satire. Ooh. Numerous trade magazines lambasted Kitsyland's shortcomings, and the customer audience declined. There was even an incident where a 6-year-old strayed from his mother, had an accident, and nearly died. Jesus Christ. 1968. 68. What the hell? I'm sorry. 1986. Oh, we're going back in time, boys. Boys and girls, we're going back. 5 years after the park opened. The situation had grown from bad to worse, and the park was hemorrhaging money. On top of everything, Yurihiko, who had bet everything on the success of mascot Kitsy, retired, and Kitsyland's operations were officially in trouble. And thus, amidst the scorn of nearly all residents of the area, ended Masaki's one and only amusement park. What's more, perhaps best described as a footnote to the debacle, the self-proclaimed Parisian artist who designed the mascot, Toki Julich, or Julich, one of those two, was to have snapped his brush over the morning over the was said to have snapped his brush in mourning over the closure of the park. Returning to the present, this is where Sojiro's about to get fucking his muffin cap back blued, baby. It was midnight, and Kitsyland of today was a shadow of its former glory. Like a doll abandoned in the corner of a toy box, the lonely park was illuminated by only the light of the town that continued to live around it.
なるほど。
So that's what happened. What, did he read that all in a pamphlet? Sojiro... Oh yeah, look at that. I was right, he did read that in a pamphlet. What are the odds? Sojiro closed the Yashirogi guidebook that he had picked up on the way here. The story of its history was almost difficult to believe, but he supposed this was what people referred to as entropy. The park's front gate was unlocked. When he had worked here the previous time, the iron fence was locked shut with a rusty chain, but the chain was nowhere to be seen and the gate left ajar. Following the map drawn in the letter, Sojiro quickly made his way inside. So does he have like a photogenic memory? I would forget about that shit easily. I mean, I like to proclaim I have really good photogenic memory. And just memory in general. I can remember shit that I forgot like years ago. They just suddenly pop up in my mind.
急ぎのようなんだろうけど、こんな夜中に何なんだ一体。
It sounded urgent. But to meet this late at night? What in the world could she want? Sojiro complained, quite out of character for him. It was probably because, in spite of his naivety, even he knew that something was amiss. Though the park was abandoned, this was still trespassing. Unlawful entry, larceny, burglary, these were currently not things, or perhaps crimes, that Sojiro was proud to do. But...
すまない。お金は払えないんだ。
Sorry, I can't pay you any money.
ただで入って申し訳ない。
I'm really sorry for coming in for free, bro. This thing's not been... Okay. The money. The real reason his conscience was gnawing at him. He clapped his hands in apology toward the statue of Kitsy, on whose eyes where paint had begun to aptly dissolve. Sojiro passed the mascot bleeding red paint from its eye sockets and began to walk the park night. That would be horrifying to see at night. Just a statue, but there's like red paint going down its eyes. Like, I would not want to be there. The building's colors had faded. The collection of machines was rusted. The man-made residents no longer felt the passage of time. Even the ghosts themselves could not endure the disparity between this forsaken place and its previous grand stature. It was like a fossilized dream. There were the ruins of a paradise both created and abandoned by man and reality. The economy had stabilized, and the standard of living was on the rise. Nobody was overly concerned with the future. There were the remains of a wild and exciting era. What the hell? Do you see that roller coaster? Like, is that roller coaster supposed to like end off like that? What the hell? It's like some like fucking like roller coaster tycoon shit right there, man. You know how you send your little patrons like flying 45 feet into the stratosphere? His breath turning to white wisps before him. Sojiro continued through the abandoned amusement park. Though void of human presence, this was not nearly as frightening as the darkness deep in the mountains. City suburbs can take many different forms, but Kitsyland was unusual for an amusement park, in so much as it had been built adjacent to a residential district. The park was surrounded by a forest, but even that, ultimately, was man-made. It was no different from the curtains on a classroom window. If he were to scale the iron fence encircling Kitsyland and break through the 20 yards of forested trees, he could make it back to a familiar townscape. Though the amusement park tended to arouse dread in the city folk, to Sojiro, it was little different from the commotion and terror of downtown. He's like, this is not compared to the fucking mountains I grew up on, alright? Like, here, it's like, oh, was that a ghost? Mountains, there's a fucking bear, alright? Well, I guess that's it. The central plaza was silent as a grave. According to the map, the meeting spot was west of here. Waiting for Sojiro at his destination was a rugged, imposing, magnificent castle towering before the backdrop of a cloudy night sky. Even for an abandoned park, it was a remarkable structure. If the roller coasters and the Ferris wheel were loud, intense attractions, this was in comparison quiet and easygoing. It was one of Kitsyland's 3 iconic structures, and in a way, the wicked fortress that guided this paradise down the path of closure. Generally speaking, amusement park mazes generally fell into one of 2 categories: a labyrinth, which disorients its visitors with its sheer size, and a house of mirrors, almost a house of horrors. That's kind of the same thing, right? Which disorients visitors with optical illusions. Many of a labyrinth's guests enjoyed the brief sense of adventure that it afforded. Over the years, however, it would be usurped by the ever-increasing thrills of new attractions. Such in this way of all trends, the curse fades. Oh, the curse of fads. Yep. The new must give way to the newer. On the other hand, the House of Mirrors was a time-honored, beloved staple. Even within the confines of a classroom's dimensions, well-placed mirrors and well-directed light could both perplex and delight its visitors. It figured in the cost of maintenance, it was a well-designed House of Mirrors could far outlive its labyrinth brethren. Even if both types faded into obscurity, they both would remain a staple of what constituted an amusement park. However, that didn't mean that combining them would produce double the fun. Together, they transformed from entertainment to an uncanny realm from which those who dared to step within could ever leave. In a familiar sense, Kitsy's Mystery Tour Castle was the park's very own other world. Indeed, 5% of visitors ended up requesting staff assistance to get out. Modeled after European castles, it was greater than a football field in length, and the interior was further split into 3 floors. 2 floors above ground and 1 below, lined with mirrors from top to bottom, equal parts complex and vast. The maze demanded at least 30 minutes, even from veterans. Veterans of a House of Mirrors, is that a thing? That's just a funny thought process. Like, imagine like they build like a new amusement park in your town, and one guy's like, "Dude, I'm a fucking master at these. Watch this." Like, then 5 minutes later, "Yeah, I need help. Can somebody call assistance?" All right, here we go. One visit was all it took to be struck by catopophobia? Catoptrophobia for hours. I know claustrophobia. What the fuck is that? I'm guessing that's like the fear of getting lost or something like It was this labyrinth that now stood in Sojiro's way.
真っ暗ってわけじゃないな。電気とかついてるんだろうか。
It looks like it's not entirely pitch black. I guess someone turned on the lights. It seemed that Sojiro, unaware of what a house of mirrors even was, concerned himself only with its lighting. I mean, to be fair, if I went to an abandoned amusement park and one of the attractions was working, I'd be a little on edge too, right? Like, let's be honest here. He checked the letter from Aoko once more. Oh, wait, what? There was 2 letters? The letter read, "I'll be waiting in the first floor lobby of the House of Mirrors." Oh yeah, I guess it was 2 letters. That meeting place was definitely in here. There was something to be seen by at least, as he could just make out light faintly through the open doors. Putting aside his suspicions, he headed toward the entrance. The sound of his footsteps against the brick-laid path echoed faintly. He was far from the hustle and bustle of the city. The park's clocks no longer made tick nor talk. Okay. And the winter's bite no longer blew in the night. From within the silence, the stillness that would cause any onlooker to hold their breath. Hello? Sojiro stopped abruptly at the entrance to the House of Mirrors.
ところで青崎、
I like my boy.
そんなところで何してるんだ？
By the way, why are you over there? I was like, she fucking comes out of the corner holding like a fucking like M1911, bro, just ready to end my boy's life. Okay, first of all, can we talk about his jacket? That looks... Hold on. I've never seen a jacket with 2 zippers. What the hell is that type of... Yeah, we gotta call the artist. We gotta call Nasu and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You got great character designs, great world building, but you don't know how a jacket works? Alright. Like, I want to see... Now I want to see if a jacket like that actually exists in real life. Because if it does, I'll actually buy it. He called out, turning back toward the plaza. A sound rang out, as if someone had dove behind a garbage can, and it fell into the ground in their haste. A short silence ensued. For a moment, the abandoned park returned to its previous hush. Okay, I mean, if you tell somebody... If that is her, if you are having the plan of murdering somebody, right? And you tell them to go here, and they scare you, you got more problems on your hand right now. Resigned to her having been exposed, the girl appeared from her hiding place. Oh, she tried to do it lightly. She was like, oh fuck, he found me out.
Oh.
Ow. His voice died in his throat when he took on the side of the girl's familiar face and unfamiliar attire. This Aoko, with her long hair flowing in the breeze, was different from the Aoko that Sojiro knew. Or she's dressed like the like early 2000s High School Musical shit, where like they wear like a dress over like a long sleeve shirt and pants. You know what I'm talking about. I know there's somebody watching this thinking like, yeah, I used to dress like that. All right, the resolute stance and posture that she took exuded the strength of her will. She stared directly at him with a sharp-eyed, piercing gaze. Her eyes were glowing with a dim, phosphoric light. All right, enough to give Sojiro pause that he might be hallucinating. An icy coldness and a girl's strength. Sojiro lacked a sense of danger, but the sense of imbalance caused him to feel the malice in the air. It was as though the Yuki Onna spirit of folklore had climbed out from the ghost story and appeared here in a reality. Yuki Onna, that's the tall lady, right? No, Yuki. No, that's like the Ice Witch, right? I want to assume so. I mean, the only reason why I would know that is because I played because I actually really like Japanese folklores and shit like that. Like, one thing about me is I love like folklore. I love like cryptids and shit like that. So like American cryptids, European cryptids, Asian folklore, I absolutely love. And a great game that I would recommend playing if you love like Japanese like myths and legends and folklore, like, you know, like the like kappas and onis and shit like that, is Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh my god, that game is great. I wasn't a big fan of the ending, but man, that game is amazing. I fucking love that game. It's actually one of my highlights of 2022. I don't remember when it came out. I think it was 2022 or 2021. One of those 2 years. But I know I was playing it. I absolutely love that game. That game is great. So I actually highly recommend playing it if you're a big fan of like Japanese folklore and stuff like that. But back to the story.
Aozaki.
Aozaki. What is it? Okay, hold on. That looks like a Slipknot mask. All right. Instinctively, Sojiro took a step back. Surprised, he was starting to feel concerned. An unpleasant premonition rose to the surface, bringing with it a sense of anxiety. In spite of this, he felt obliged to honor urban etiquette by seeing if she was all right.
その顔を見るに、何かあったのかと一応聞いておくんだけど。
Did something happen to you? From the looks of it, Without acknowledging him, Alka took a step forward. Her figure, this atmosphere. Sojiro found himself recalling a recent memory. Oh, there it is. His twisted and knotted apprehension melted away and was replaced by a growing realization. He's like, oh, fuck. I mean, by his face, he's like, oh, shit, he's like, oh, no. The girl before him was very similar to someone he had seen before, that night in the park, though he had only seen her from behind. With increasing certainty causing him to swallow nervously, he noted that they might as well have been identical.
何をしていたかって話なら、見ての通りよ。
You asked me what I was doing. Well, it's exactly what it looks like.
ここで獲物が通り過ぎるのを待ってたの。あなたが入ってから私も入って、逃げ道をなくすつもりだったから。
I was waiting for my prey to pass by. Once you went inside, I was going to follow and cut off your only route of escape. Okay, first of all, the one person I don't want to fight against is someone who raised in the mountains, because that guy probably grew up fighting wild boars, bears, like a mountain lion. He probably knows how to kill them things too, so... Alright, I mean, I don't want to say Sojiro was a hunter per se, but he had to do what he had to do to get food, right? I mean, let's be honest here, alright? You may be a magician, but you can't outwit someone with instinctual prowess, you know? Aoko said, perturbed by the swift change in plans.
そうか。待ち合わせ場所は合ってたんだな。
But I love Sojiro, though. He's not like too... Well, then again, he's like, okay, why are we out here? Phew! So I came to the right place. Sojiro was mightily relieved that he had not got to the wrong place. It was unclear whether he felt confident about dealing with what was to come, or if he had simply failed to grasp the hopelessness of the situation. Aoko ignored his obtuse response and continued.
私はね、しずきくん。
You know, Shizuki.
嫌いな人とか、憎い人とかは人並みにいるんだ。
Just like anyone else, some people get on my nerves, and some people I just really hate.
ただ、ちょっと変なのが敵になるやつの条件でね。
But the funny thing is, my enemies are never people on my shit list. Cold emotion burned in her eyes. Her feet had already moved one step closer to Sojiro. Sojiro's sense of foreboding was growing stronger. Wondering if what he sensed was bloodlust, he retreated another step. Continue as so, they maintained a distance of just 15 feet.
昔から、私は嫌いな相手でも敵と思ったことはなかったの。
As far as I can recall, I never thought of someone I didn't like as an enemy.
でも逆に、好きな相手を敵だと思うこともあった。
As it happens, I've even had enemies that I liked. Okay, real quick, before we continue. You think under Sojiro's like neck wrap, he's got like tattoos or something like that that glow or something like that? Like you ever seen like those type of like animes movies that they have like a tattoo on them, but it can like turn into a weapon for some reason? Like what if it's exactly that? I'm calling it. I don't know if I'm gonna be right or wrong, but that would be sick. Like it just unravels and like a sword pops out. That'd be wild.
理由は単純。
And the reason is simple. She held her right arm out. The light about her was no illusion.
当たり前のことだけど。
It's simple, really.
私は、私の感情を乱す奴が敵なのよ。
Anyone who throws me out of whack is my enemy. Her arm moved again. It was instantaneous. Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm calling it. Oh, never mind. Something shot past Sojiro in a blink of an eye, missing him by just a foot to his left. His fucking face. Hey! Before his eyes, a blue light, something akin to a fireball, had ignited from nothing. He finally understood what was happening.
ちょっと待った。今のは大変見覚えがある。
Wait a second. I've seen those before. You're not helping yourself. She ignored his dim-witted reaction.
外したか。
Damn it, I missed. Even in this heavy situation. Aoko muttered to herself. Did she miss, or was there like a force field around him, from the tattoos on his neck? A fist-sized hole the blue light had made in the House of Mirrors cracked and smoldered, or crackled and smoldered. There you go. A shot like that could easily cave in a human skull, in addition to burning it to a crisp. Like a plasma rifle.
こんな射程で外すなんて、アリスに見られたら自殺者ね。
Huh. I'd have to kill myself if Alice saw me miss at this range, yo mood.
でも、これで分かったでしょ？二度目だものね。あなたにとっては。
But you get it now, right? This is it for you. There won't be a second chance. Sojiro backed away swiftly. Things were beyond incomprehensible. He was close to losing the ability to think at all. All he could make out was a figure on the dependable student council president, or at least what he had thought was the president, and the memories of the park that night 2 days ago. He never experienced anything like this, though most people living in a civilized country, country would have never seen anything like it either. A lethal weapon that could kill with nothing more than the pull of a finger had a way of suspending the ability of its target to determine between not just good and evil, but dreams and reality, past and future. And the more peaceful someone's life had been, the stronger that suspension was likely to be. All that one could think about was the fact that they were alive at that very moment. It was as if he was as if he was an unwritten character on a blank piece of white paper. There was no before, there was no after. There was only what came next. This was a very common thought process for anyone staring down the barrel of a gun.
あ、命乞いはやめてね。意味ないから。
Oh, don't bother begging. It's pointless.
でも、恨み事ならご自由に。殺す側の義務として一言一句聞いてあげる。
But feel free to air your grievances. It's a killer's duty to listen to her victim's last words. By saying it was pointless, she had made it sound like she would not listen to what he had to say. However, Sojiro was in such a state of shock that it didn't even enter his mind to speak up. All he knew, for unknown reasons, was that the girl in front of him wanted him dead.
嘘つきにも程がある。
You could have told me, Tobimaro. Yeah, I don't think he knows, man.
飛び丸のバカ。何がそんな生き物はいないだ。実際いるじゃないか、こんなお化けみたいなのが。
You said that no such thing exists. Well, how about now, moron or idiot? There's a monster right in front of me. He just walks away. He's like, I'll deal with you later. Sojiro felt that if he had said that out loud, the second blast would be even quicker than the last, so he kept it to himself. Yeah, good choice, my friend. His mental explosive stirred his mind from paralysis to mere panic. This response came not from the confidence, however. Someday out of the blue, someone's going to kill me. Whether it may seem like a baseless belief to hold.
でもそうだった。都会には殺人事件がある。
Oh, but now that I think about it, murders happen all the time in cities.
ルールを破れば殺されるのは当たり前だって、ちゃんと教えてもらってた。
I should have remembered. You break the rules, you get killed. It's clear to me now. To Sojiro, the situation seemed to perfectly align with his inexperienced understanding that the city was a coldly pragmatic place. As far as he was concerned in this moment, being killed by a classmate was not something to be so surprised by. In a society where murder was possible, he was able to accept this sort of situation as natural. Of virtually no concern was the series of events that had led to Aoko's aggression towards him. The only thing that truly confused him was Aoko's blue fireball. Sojiro swallowed with an audible gulp. To anyone who had been watching, it was the response of a victim paralyzed by fear.
そういうことよ。ようやく理解してくれたわね。
That's right. So do you finally get it?
多くは語らないけど、あなたにはここで死んでもらう。
I'm all out of words, so I think it's time you died.
魔術は隠匿するもの。なんて言っても、そっちには関係のないことだし。単に運がなかったって思えばいいわ。大事なのは、私があなたを殺したってことだけだから。
I could go on about how magecraft has to stay hidden, but that doesn't really have anything to do with you. All you need to know is that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that it was me who killed you. Done talking, Aoko once again lifted her right arm. There was a hum like a machine, like when you fucking charge up a plasma pistol in Halo. The blue light began to revolve around her arm beneath her sleeve. This was taking longer than the last time, leading Sojiro to believe that it was going to be much stronger than the attack that was still scorching the wall behind him. The realization caused his panic to heighten.
いやなんだつまり始末するとかしないとかあの夜のお化けは青崎だったとか都会は本当に込み入ってるとかそういうことじゃなくて
It's part of a church. No, wait. It's not about me having to die, or the fact that the monster that night was actually Aozaki, or even whether she's part of the church. It's not about any of that. His thoughts became jumbled, and his tattoos on his neck fucking started to light up. His heart pounded like a hammer. This was no time to be standing still. He was not sure if the girl in front of him was really human, and more importantly, even if he could accept the events unfolding before him, when all was said and done.
待て人殺しはいけないんだぞ
Wait, it's wrong to kill people. And she's like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Let me just stop charging my attack that's about to incinerate your corpse. Even if it was a fact of life in the city, Sojiro was not about to lie down and die.
わかってるわよ、そんなことは
Don't you think I know that? Just wait. Sojiro's scream, still entirely oblivious, was just the thing to invoke Aoko's full wrath. Oh, my man's hauling ass. Aoko fired a barrage of blue magical bullets. In an instant, Sojiro dashed into the shadows behind him, and to the entrance to the House of Mirrors. Well, that's... we weren't supposed to go in there.
なんだい今のなんだ
What the hell was that? He darted feverishly down the hall. After a mere few feet, he was left completely out of breath. This was due to the shock at seeing yet another attack, fiercer than the first, that he had never seen in his life, and because he couldn't shake the thought that if he had moved even a second later, he would be dead. He couldn't afford to stop. The sound of merciless footsteps closed in behind him.
けど助かったここならなんとか
I bought myself some time. Maybe here I'll be able to figure something out. He threw everything into his legs as he sprinted. A straight narrow passage was about 60 feet long, connected to the entrance to the main lobby. At this rate, if he could just make it to the lobby, he was sure he would be able to find as many hiding spots as he needed.
助かった
Thank God. He arrived in a large open space. This was the first floor lobby. There were 3 passageways. One led to the basement floor. One connected to the first floor maze. The other was a set of stairs leading to the second floor. Sojiro did not particularly care which one he chose, so trusting his intuition, he made a run for the first floor maze when... Ouch! He smacked his head into a transparent wall.
鏡
A mirror?
ええ。面倒だけど、それならフェアでしょ
That's right. It's annoying, but I guess I guess this makes things fair.
追いかける方にも逃げる方にも有利不利がある。
The chaser and the chased are on equal ground. A somehow cheerful voice echoed in his direction. There was no need for Sojiro to even turn around. In the very same mirror he had crashed into, he could see Aoko Azaki's figure slowly approaching.
それと、1階の奥にある出口は封鎖しといたから。結界じゃなくて、物理的に。
You should know, I sealed off the first floor exit deeper inside. Physically, not with a bounded field.
やりすぎて封鎖っていうより瓦礫？土砂崩れ？どっちでもいっか。とにかく下手に出口に近づくと崩落に巻き込まれるから。生き埋めが嫌なら近寄らないことね。
Is calling it a seal going too far? Maybe plugged or buried works. Either way, if you get too close, you'll just be swallowed by a cave-in. I recommend keeping your distance if you don't want to be burned alive. Where's his tattoos, man? Let me see them. I highly doubt he has those, but it'd just be a wild thought if he did, you know. Panicked by the impending footsteps, Sojiro groped for the wall. He could see the stairs to the second floor. He did not understand what Aoko had meant earlier, but he at least knew that the first floor was not going to save him.
ま、私としてはそっちのが助かるけど。
It would save me a lot of trouble if you just died that way, though.
形式上、事故死の方が後始末とか楽だから。
The cleanup is much easier for accidental deaths. Behind him was a creature beyond words. As she continued her idle taunting, she lifted her right arm ostentatiously. Even from above her clothes, one could see some kind of strange, incongruous pattern upon her body. The veins beneath her skin. They made it seem as though something inhuman was circulating her body. Well, in a way, yes. Say, Whether out of pity or repulsion, Sojiro stopped for just one moment. His pursuer evaded his gaze.
ああ、これ？普段は塗り薬で隠しているんだけど、今日は特別。
You noticed, then. I normally hide it with ointment, but today is special.
魔術刻印って言ってね。魔術師の証みたいなものよ。
It's called a magical crest. It's proof that I'm a mage.
ほら、光が回ってるでしょ？これがさっきのスナップ。わかりやすく言うと弾丸の元。
You see, this light revolving around me, right? It's the beginning of what formed that snap. Those bullets. You know, you said you were going to kill him, but now you're explaining all that shit to him, so... you know, you want to be quick and clean, but you're over here wasting time.
今日は調子いいし、私、魔力を効率よく使うのだけは自信あるし。うん。あと30回ぐらいかな。さっきみたいな装着ができるのは。
I'm feeling pretty good today, and I've never felt more confident in how to use my magical energy efficiently. I think I'm good for another 30 bullets or so. See, that's the one thing you don't want to tell somebody when you're trying to kill them, and vice versa, is how many... It's like, that's like if you were shooting someone and you're just like, yeah, I have 5 bullets left, and you miss all 5 bullets, it's like, well, now you can fight back, so... That'd be well, let's see. Perhaps she was on an emotional high, for her voice had become frightfully friendly. The substance of the conversation could have not been any more unsettling, however.
そもそも何を言っているかよくわからないんだけど、青崎。
I don't understand a thing you're saying,
わから
Ozaki.
ない？弾数はあと30発ってこと。
You don't? I'm telling you that I have 30 more shots in the tank.
そこまで逃げ切ればあなたの勝ちよ。とりあえず、今日のところはね。
If you can escape before I use them up, it's your win. For today, that is.
今日はって明日もあるのかな。
For today. You might have to do this tomorrow too? I think he's my favorite character. I love this guy. He's great. He's awesome. Sojiro knit his brows. Aoko's expression creased into a scowl at his behavior. Although he was panicking, it seemed that deep down he still did not feel the full weight of the crisis. Definitely not. She knew he still didn't get it.
宣言はしたわ。自由時間はこれでおしまい。
I said my piece. Free time is over.
まだ罵り足りないだろうけど。ま、その手の時間はキリがないしね。この辺りで諦めて。
I may still have some trash talk left in me, but well, there's never enough time to get it all off my chest anyway. Just give up and die already. It appeared Oko had prepared this theatrical dialogue ahead of time, not to allow her opponent time for futile pleading, but to give him the time to curse her, his killer. Such a forthrightness was her, what the fuck? Her modus operandi? Did I say that? With this victim, however, it was not going as she had hoped.
とにかくそういうことだから。
Anyway, that's all I have to say. You said that like 3 times already.
じゃ、狩りの時間と行きましょうか。
Shall we begin the hunt? Her voice was void of emotion, and her eyes ruthless as they bored into her prey. This time, Sojiro finally accepted that he was going to die. Man, my man's like, what? What's going on here? Yeah, am I gonna die? I don't know. But I think that's where we're gonna end it for today. We're gonna see... Mash that a few times. So, what do we find out today? That Sojiro is on a life or death situation at the moment. So, we're gonna see how he escapes next time. Let's see what he pulls out of his sleeve. You know, Alice said that there's something underneath his neck wrap. So, I like to believe that he's got like tattoos or something, and like she's gonna like do like one final like big bang flash, and like it's gonna reflect off of him, and like the thing uncovers, and boom, there's like a fucking like, I don't know, like some ancient fucking type of scripture on his neck that is like grandmother and the fucking mountains put on him. If I'm not too far off, that'd be sick. If anybody in the comments, you know, if they just say you pretty much have it without spoiling it, that'd be sick. But because it hasn't been revealed of what that is yet. But that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. And if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy White Album. I'll see you guys next time. I'm signing out.